When you think of human trafficking, you think of somebody kidnapping a child and going overseas and selling them for sex. But human trafficking is actually in your backyard. Like, who is your neighbor? Like, do you really know your neighbor? Do you really know who your kids are playing with?
Human sex trafficking is when men, women, or children are forced against their will to do any type of sexual act for the sake of a profit.
The common age for sex trafficking is usually about age 12 to 18.
The victims are typically either under false pretenses and they're promised a job or something like that and kind of lured in, and then they're trapped in kind of a vicious cycle of it. The Tampa Bay area is actually a very hot spot for human sex trafficking specifically.
There's multiple locations. Of course, there's common locations, and a lot of them we think of with sex trafficking, so brothels, as well as strip clubs, hotels, restaurants, and massage parlors. But really, any location that a person can be taken where it's private, so to speak, where very few people have access, whether they're locked doors. Even people with human trafficking sometimes end up on a big property where there's people that are manning it with rifles.
It's an easy spot to hide something like this because people are coming in and out. It's a big tourist area. There's a lot of motels, there's a lot of shops, there's dozens of different massage parlors. It makes it a little bit easier, I believe, for them to usher these victims through here.
I'm going to take you back to the very first time I encountered this. When I was 12 years old, I went to my friend's house and her mom would send us to hotels. I didn't know why we were going. I just followed my friend. My mom didn't know what I was doing. She just thought I was at my friend's house. So her mom would send us to this hotel.
She was a very young person, and she basically got caught into it with a neighbor. So she had a friend and her friend's mom. She ended up going over to that house, and they befriended her and eventually were taken to other places to deliver sexual services. And as a young person, that person had no idea that there was anything wrong with that.
The older guy, he was an old guy, he had a movie camera set up, and then they had a line of drugs, I didn't even know what it was at the time, laid out for me, and they made me snort it. They told me to snort it. Unfortunately, I was a follower, not a leader, so I just did what I was told, and then I was told to take off my clothes. That's what my friend was doing, and she made it look normal. So that's what I did. And from there, once I was introduced to the drug, I just kept going back on my own. But all along, like my mom, like nobody knew that we were being sold for drugs. The only time I felt happy or I felt loved is